Okay. All right. How is everybody tonight? Just nod, because I think we muted everybody. All right. So we have Lyndee with us tonight. She has so graciously agreed to come on here and share some of her best practices. She is the founder of Team Game Changers. She was a discount coach in 2014 to 2016. So I know that we get coaches that say, well, I just want to be a discount coach. She was a discount coach for 2 full years, and now she's a 1-star. So, so here she is. I don't know too much about her. I know I gave Amy like a, hey, if you've ever met Amy and blah, blah. I don't know too much about Lyndee, but we'll let her share who she is, like as a person, not as like her ranks, and where you are, where you came from, how Beachbody came into your life, and then you can just start. And I'm going to mute everybody. So,
okay.
All right.
Share my screen. Okay. So along with not recording my team calls, I've also done a whole call without anyone seeing the screen. So you can see my presentation. Okay, so my name is awesome. My name is Lyndee Heser, and I volunteered to speak on your guys' team call because I am a teacher at heart.
Hey, Lyndee, one thing. I think because you have the host.
Yep. You need me to mute.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I think because you are the host now, I think you're going to have to mute. I think it's Brandy.
It's not me.
Yeah, it's you.
Well, let me fix it.
Because we can hear I can hear click, 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 but I can't hear Lyndee. And I usually wouldn't say anything. I would just mute you guys, but I can't because I'm not the host.
Sorry. I'm working on it.
No, you're fine. So if you just see somebody's square pop up green, just click on their square and you'll just be able to mute them super easy. We still love your face, Brandy. You were just like, no, they need to hear all my clicks. Funny. You probably don't even realize that we can hear, but anyways, I think we're good now.
Okay. Yeah, and it's hard because I can only see. Why is it still loading? Okay, so I told Amber I'm a very Ruby Emerald personality, so planning and organizing and teaching is kind of my thing. So I actually combined 2 presentations together I titled it Coaching and Planning Your Month Around Your Why. Because when I discovered my true why, that is when my vibe changed in this business. And this is a picture actually from last February. I was able to go to the New Leader Conference in LA. And at the end of the conference, Carl had asked us if we could sum up our coaching lives in one word. And I decided fulfillment, and I'm going to touch on why. So yes, I am married to Tyler, and that is our family. We have 2 little boys. Tegan is 6 and Holden is 4. And I was an elementary teacher, 4th and 5th grade for 12 years. And in May of 2016, I was able to leave my teaching job to stay home with our boys and coach full time. And during that time where I was home, it was about a year plus. I just kind of lost my fire for coaching. I was still hitting Success Club. I was running my groups, but it was getting really hard to do, and I was starting to feel really desperate. And it was not a good feeling. And it all came because I kind of felt like I was coaching with a gun to my head, because it all became about the dollars and the points and trying to help support my family now that I wasn't full-time teaching. And I wasn't able just to focus on why I was doing it. And so that's when I got in touch with a friend of mine who had been Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer. And she had helped me work through the book, Find Your Why by Simon Sinek. And we always talk about as coaches, we just like to help people. That's why we do what we do. But really, I had to dive a lot deeper into that. And that's where this golden circle comes into play. And I'm not going to go into all the science behind it, but just I changed my business from the inside out, where we need to start from this middle circle of why we actually do what we do. And then from there, we can talk about our how we do it and what we do it in terms of like challenge groups and trainings, and that type of thing. So these are kind of some questions I'm just going to present to you and for you to think about, and I can like share this presentation with Amber if you want them for later. So like when people ask what I did, I was like, oh, I'm a coach. But instead I needed to dive deeper and think about, what do I do for work? Why do I actually do it? Why is what I'm doing making me a better person? And how is it making an impact in the world? And then why do people want to buy from us or work from us? And I got stuck too much in like the numbers and the money and the statistics and lost my true heart of coaching. And actually I figured out I didn't really know it. We hear so often people say like, oh, I do it, my why is helping people, or my why is my family or my health or my kids. But really it has to go beyond that. And originally I thought my why was to leave my teaching career. But then when I did that, it was kind of like a now what? I had only wanted to be a teacher my whole life. So all of a sudden when I wasn't in the classroom, and I was kind of done with like the BS of like parent issues and grading and the way kids had changed, but I still wanted to teach. So what I did was find out my true why is to help people be healthier, happier, and more fulfilled. And when I figured that out, my what I was doing as a coach was way easier. I needed to match up everything I said with everything I believed, and I needed to prove that to people. I needed to show them I was authentic, and that's when that golden circle, that why, what, and how.
Step around here. Asparagus.
That's when that why, what, and how come into like balance, and that's where trust is formed. And so I needed to redo like how I was presenting products, my service as a coach, how I was marketing myself and my groups, and even the culture within my team, so that everything I did embodied that, teaching others to be happier, healthier, and more fulfilled. And all I really did it is kind of like the Beachbody motto, right? But I just changed some of those words so that it was really what I was doing. And then I changed my actions into teaching. So I went back to my teacher's heart. So my how and what I do, my why is to teach others how to be happier, healthier, and more fulfilled. And people actually commented to me in person and on social media, like, we've seen a change in you. And my like business coach that was working me through this, she like said, after like we had talked a while and she gained my trust, and she said, Lyndee, you were coming off before as really desperate, and now you're like super authentic, and I can tell like you have that light back in your eye. And I was enjoying making posts, and I was enjoying running my groups again. And so I kind of broke my teaching down into like 10 areas. So my brand, the value I share with others everywhere, whether that be in social media or in person. In my live videos, I do a weekly Teaching Tuesday, where I come live every Tuesday night usually and teach about something. And it's not even always health and fitness related. I changed my invites and my call to actions to always include something about, I can teach you how to. So I still use a script. I just personalized it based on my why. I run, instead of calling them groups, I wanted to make it more of a community. So now all my free groups are now free communities. All my sneak peek groups teach about the program coming up. Instead of a challenge group, I run fit communities. And then whenever I come across someone who's ready to talk goals, I work up a health and fitness recommendation for them, where I'm teaching them kind of like a little sneak peek into my group and how I would coach them. And then I do the same thing with my team. I try to come to them daily through a post or a live, teaching them something that will help them in their own journey or as a coach. So here's just an example of like my social media. Like some of these pictures are a little bit old, but I try to make my brand shine through like whatever I do. So I was sure to like on all of my social media say that I'm a wife, a boy mom, a former teacher, and I'm hustling for joy. So anytime I talk about inviting to a coaching opportunity, I talk about, because I want others who are like me. I want people who want to hustle, but also with heart, And the reason I hustle as hard as I do is I want more joy in my life. Right now, I'm actually at my friend's cabin because we live from the lake in our camper all summer. And I want more moments like that, not just for me, but my coaches as well. Whenever I like do like a quote on social media, I have it kind of look like this blackboard, kind of like a teacher feel. Same with my highlight reel. I have like a chalk font and like that chalkboard background. So I'm trying to like get in touch with that, the teacher in me, if you will. Oh. Sorry, I'm trying to mute everyone. Okay. So what I do is when I plan my month, I just think of an anchor post that I can teach around for the whole month. So for example, in January, it was how to slay the new year. So every day on social, I shared a tip on how people could slay the new year. In February, I talked all about self-love. In March, I talked about I don't remember what I called it. Basically, it was like productivity tips. April was like spring cleaning your life. So I didn't just talked about cleaning up your house, cleaning up your diet, just kind of how to get organized. This summer, I've been doing summer survival posts. So because I live from the lake in the summer from our camper, and a lot of my friends and family and my network is doing the same things. They're lake people. I'm sharing recipes, I'm cleaning up cocktails. I created a free community that goes on all summer where every day I just pop like a healthy summer living tip in. So this is how I plan my week. And if I'm going to run like a free group, I do it the first week of the month. And then I make my paid group, which is like my fit community. Maybe it's a challenge group for you. I do that the third week of the month. So I can help those people in my free community get into my paid fit community. And when I say paid, I just mean they're using like a product. So from there, I'm able to plan my groups and events. So like right now I have an ongoing, we call it Heser House Fit Community because my husband coaches with me. So it's just like a general community we run on the My Challenge Tracker app for our clients who are between programs, clients who aren't doing a specific program. And then we have our Lift 4 fit community going on. So this is kind of how I plan out my month. So I'm always inviting to something. So I'm already thinking ahead to fall and how my niche market is busy moms, busy teachers. And so I'm going to be doing something with like getting back to you because I know in the summer moms typically like it's all about their kids. They lose track of themselves. So it's kind of getting back into those routines. And then my invites and my call to action reflect that why that I want to teach you. So an example was in February, I ran a sheet pan supper meal. And normally I would just call it like a free clean eating week or whatever. But that just really wasn't me. But I decided what if during that week I could teach people how sheet pan meals, you could change them up, how they're an easy, quick supper. And then every day my posts were teaching them a different like recipe or facet on how we do it as a busy family. And I just try to think about what types of things kind of were obstacles for me when I started my journey or are obstacles for people in my niche. So one of them is meal prep. So I run like a meal prep 101 where every day I come to them live and show them like how I am meal prepping. I might provide like resources like a meal planning sheet or I have a grocery store PDF that has the list organized by area of the grocery store so you're not backtracking through the store. And I'm just sure I'm coming live every day and teaching them something instead of just throwing like a bunch of information on them. And there on the far right-hand side of the screen, I just have an example of like an invite, but in there, I just am sure to tell them like, I want to teach you how I've done it. A lot of times I say, I want to teach you how I've been able to make it a lifestyle, not a diet or a duty. And it all relates back to my why. So some other examples of free communities I've run are like a Miracle Morning community. And I did that last fall when my son went to kindergarten and I was kind of struggling with not having him at home. I had a lot of anxiety. I was a little bit depressed, but I saw how much the Miracle Morning helped me. And I knew there were other moms who probably could benefit from it too. I've done mason jar salad, grilling, foil packets, meal prep, sheet pan, spring cleaning, where we posted like a daily like tip to spring clean like your life, and then also like a clean eating group. I've done like healthy kid lunches, and right now, like I said, I'm doing that summer survival group. So today's tip was like Thirsty Thursday, and we just shared different ways we're getting our water in the summer. Sometimes on Thirsty Thursday, I might clean up a cocktail. Like yesterday, I cleaned up margaritas for National Tequila Day, because I know people who are in my niche don't want to just give up everything. They want to find that balance. I run sneak peeks, like just a group where at the end of my post, I invite people to come into my sneak peek where I teach them about Lift 4 or 80-day obsession. And that's how they're able to see if they want to join me. So I just have like a series of posts, and then at the end, I kind of do like a call to action. And when they're in, and they've committed, whether that's because they already have the product or they're purchasing it, I kind of just make a running list and I tag them, and it's kind of that like positive peer pressure. So I know a lot of other coaches run sneak peeks or Snoop groups, but I just am sure to keep it centered on my why. So I'm teaching them about that community they're going to be part of, or about that program that they're going to do. So once they're actually in a fit community, how do I do it? I run them on the My Challenge Tracker app just because it's easier for me, and I've been locked out of Facebook before, and I don't want that to happen again. And if it does, I still want to have control of my groups. So what I'm sure to do in there is teach through the daily challenges or the daily posts. And for Lift 4, for example, I'm using the one that is provided in the resources part of our online office, but I'm just customizing it to sound like me, and that I'm adding some kind of tip I'm teaching every day. I do still post videos in there, even though like I can't go live. That's the only thing I wish that Beachbody would change. Oftentimes I use PD as part of the group. And then an example of just kind of getting in touch with like the teacher's heart in me. For 80-day obsession, I posted this way for my challengers to track their phases, and it was called Treat Yourself. And it was like, and I didn't do these in the classroom, so it's kind of funny, but it was basically like a sticker chart, an incentive chart, where they could plan out their phases and what they were going to do to reward themselves at the end of each phase, because the 13 weeks were so long. So like this was a sample of mine. Like every week I was going to do a hot bath and watch Netflix. And then at the end of the phase, I rewarded myself with a mani and pedi before LA. And then at the end of phase 2, I rewarded myself with a massage. And at the end of phase 3, I rewarded myself with new clothes for Mexico. And so my clients could print this out and they could plan their own like self-care or reward system. So I just kind of try to bring in the classroom whenever I can and make my fit communities feel like that classroom. And I know everyone who I come across isn't going to join me in even a free community or on a paid group, and that's okay. Because my goal is just to be the light and to help others be happy, healthy, and more fulfilled. And sometimes I have people message me that just say like, that post really hit home, or I love the recipes you post. So I know even if people aren't buying a challenge pack, I can touch them through social media. So I plan out my social media about a week at a time. I don't plan out every post, but I do plan out like an anchor post around like a group I'm running. So like before Lift 4, I was somehow tying into Lift 4 every day. Like in my sweaty selfie, instead of just saying, oh, I did this workout today, I would talk about the accountability in our group, or how I like having my husband as my workout partner, or how it's so nice to have a meal plan provided. And I just vary it up for 7 to 10 days before I cut off like entrance to the group. And then I plan my value added posts. So that's around those themes. So like I said, in January, it was how to slay the new year. In June and July, it's been on summer survival. So I just have one daily post that I post every day. And I will admit, I have not been as consistent in the summer, and I don't like the way that feels, because my goal is to be consistent in all I say and do. And I think that is coming to people and sharing a little bit of value every day. In August, it's my birthday month, so I'm just going to be sharing like all of my favorites. And some of those are obviously going to be Beachbody products, and some of them are just going to be favorite things in my life that help me. So going back to like as coaches, we always say, oh, I just want to help people. Instead of saying like, I just want to help, I got more specific. And I think, what can I do to teach others to be happier, healthier, and more fulfilled? So that may be reaching out to others, commenting on other people's posts, making connections. And I really just think of how I can be the light for others, whether that be in my groups, whether that be on social media, whether that be in people I meet face to face, because that's where that true authenticity comes through. Value is the transference of trust. We can't convince someone to trust us. We have to talk about our why and prove that it all lines up, our why, our how, and our what, because people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. So because of that, I'm sure to make my social media posts consistent, because I found out before my posts were using a lot of like manipulation marketing. And I didn't know this until I read the book by Simon Sinek. Like I was doing lots of like, if you sign up by this day, I will send you this, or I will give you the PD book we're doing. And I was actually just spending lots of money trying to convince people of the value of myself as a coach and the value of our products. But instead, when I just lined everything up, I found I didn't need to do that anymore. So here's just some examples of some of my social media posts. This one is from January. It was tip number 29, and it just talked about bringing your lunch instead of eating hot lunches at a school, because I was a teacher, or skipping the drive-through. And I just talked about how I do it and how it's helped us. Oh, that's what March is. The harder you work, the luckier you get. So I just talked about, this was a PD takeaway, not operating on autopilot. And I just talked about how that's played out in my life. And then here was a spring cleaning your life post. I talked about how to clean up your pantry. So I just went into my pantry and I pulled out items that we have started using since eating healthier, and what we used to use. And then pretty much I look the same always. I'm always wearing like one of 3 sweatshirts, but it doesn't matter what kind of day I've had. Since I committed to this in January, I've only missed 2 Teaching Tuesday lives, and then I've always done them that next Wednesday. But I just go live on Facebook and Instagram, and I do them at the same time, which is I do Instagram from my phone and Facebook from my computer. And then I just try really hard that I'm making eye contact with both. I know it would be better to do them separately, but some of these are like 10 to 15 minutes. And this was like, they go kind of in progression. Now, like I'm getting like 500, 600, 300 views. I get more when I go live with my husband. And so now we're like tag teaming a lot, and we're going live together. And then we tag each other and our location. And we're just going live together and teaching something, which works out nice because my husband is a teacher too. And then people are seeing like, this isn't just a me thing. It's a we thing, and actually it's a us thing, because we bring our little kids into what we do too. Like a lot of times they're running around behind us, or sometimes they're working out with us. And so the first people I taught was my husband and my kids on how to have healthier habits. And then this next thing is kind of a little bit off track, but I still wanted to include it because it's a way I've been able to talk to a lot of people about their goals and actually convert them to a challenge pack where they're a paid client and they're getting the results because they have all the tools in their hands. So when I get to that point, I have a list of questions I send them, and here are the questions. And then based on how they answer, I develop this free custom health and fitness recommendation. And I just type in their name, and I just created this on Canva. And then I took one that some other coach had created. I think like the Fitzpatricks originally created it, and then it got shared on our team. And then I just took it to look like me. So I have like the chalkboard. And then every time someone sends me their question, I just input it into like your why, your goals. And then I have like kind of like a narrative. And then the next page I attach like from the online office, just a picture or a little bit on the program that I would recommend they start with. And then other programs they might like on BOD I highlight. And then usually I circle like with the circle tool on Canva, which of the Beachbody or which of the Shakeology ingredients, which are the 6 key nutrient groups is going to help them with their issue. So if they said they have a lot of cravings, I'm going to circle like premium protein and amino acids, because we know those reduce cravings. If they're already taking a multivitamin, I circle vitamins and minerals. And then if someone is local, after they sign up, I meet with them in person if I can. If not, I meet with them like on Zoom or Facebook video or whatever. And then I try to have a copy of this that I can go over with them and kind of teach them how to get started. And then the last thing I'll touch on is I try to be sure I'm doing this in my team as well. Like currently I don't have so many working coaches, but I'm still trying to give them resources every day. So I might, here I was talking to them about like podcasts I would suggest as a coach or what might help them on their journey. The second one I highlighted a product. So I just come to them and I teach them about a product. This third post, I was teaching them on how I plan my daily anchor posts. So I'm just teaching no matter where I'm at. Yeah, so that is kind of how I have reworked my business, and I'm much more on fire now for what I do. It's like that light in my eye is back. I feel that passion. I feel like centered. And it's a lot easier to plan and talk to people when I was clear on my why. Before I was kind of just floundering and selling challenge packs, and it just wasn't translating and I wasn't gaining that trust with people.
I love that. And I love the Canva doc too. I mean, I type all that out, but I don't put it in like a pretty package with a bow like you do. So, I mean, I really like the Canva thing. And I was wondering, can you tell us how you got started with Beachbody? Who is your coach? Because I don't know.
My coach is Val Westy.
Okay.
Okay, so
I think I knew that.
I started in 2014, and it was about, my youngest son Holden was 3 months, and I just bought the 21-day fix online because I thought it was gonna, like, I don't know. When I went to my 6-week appointment after having my son, I weighed more than when I delivered, and that was kind of my wake up call. Yeah, and so I started in August, lost 10 pounds with the clean eating group. I went on, I should have put a before and after, but my husband and I lost together 120 pounds, and we've kept it off. It'll be 4 years in this fall. Yeah, so yeah, actually I started as a discount coach, like just with the Shakeology in October, and then kind of went all in actually that January. But I was still teaching full time, managing 2 little kids. I had a commute. I didn't know you were supposed to invite, like I didn't do any training groups. So I started in January actively coaching, running groups, filled my first challenge group with 5 people, next one 10. Without inviting anyone. It was my warm market, because I think sometimes I think teachers and nurses have like a bigger warm market and there's already that trust established. So it took me a long time to run out of my warm market. But then when I did, that's when I felt desperate, and I had no idea like how to connect to people and get people I don't know to trust me. And now since January, most of the clients who signed up with me were from new Facebook friends. They were people I didn't know. And in fact, now, like, we live in a pretty rural area. And so it's hard for me to go into town because we live like in a town of 300 people. So we go to like the next town over this, 30,000 people. And like, I don't like to go to Walmart because like people recognize me that I don't know because I'm on social so much. Like, that sounds weird. But it's kind of cool because it's opened up like all these new relationships of people I'm able to touch their lives. So yeah. No,
I get it. I saw a girl yesterday at the gym, and she asked me a question, and I was like, and she was like, Brenda. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're Brenda. Okay. You bought a challenge pack yesterday. I don't even think I've ever seen you face to face. Like, and she's just been in a room full of other people while I was an instructor, and I just never knew her personally, but I know exactly what you mean when you say, when you get to the point of where you are selling challenge packs to people and they see you and they're like, hey, and you're like, oh, I don't know who you are, but you don't want to say that. It gets really strange. It's a good problem to have, I suppose, but I will never forget her name. It happened twice in one day at both gyms. I had sold 2 2B Mindset challenge packs, and they didn't post a lot of pictures of them. They only posted pictures of their children, and I didn't know who they were, and I felt like an ass.
Yeah, and to be mindset, I had a lot of people come out of the woodwork for that because like it opened up that whole new network of not having to like work out.
Right.
That's the product I felt has been like the easiest to teach about. And I did move that one from the My Challenge Tracker app over to a Facebook group because of the learning community option of doing the units.
Right. I do all of mine on Facebook. We tried it for maybe 6 months on the My Challenge Tracker app, and it was the hardest months of my life. Oh. And so even though it is easier, like logistically for you as like a coach, we started doing like a poll at the end of the week. So yes, we do call them out every single night, but we do a poll at the end of the week so nobody has to like keep track and go back and review posts and points and all that. So
I don't do like the points or anything anymore. I just like for 80-day obsession, I went back and looked at the logs, and if they logged so many, I sent them like a little pineapple decal or whatever. But I've kind of I know you're a big prize person, and so I'm a gifts person. That's my love language. So it was really hard for me to go away from that. But I had to think about like why I was doing it. And that kind of went back to, for me, it was kind of started being more about like manipulation marketing. So now what I turned it into instead was like, now I'm doing like a Shakeology loyalty program. And Robbie from corporate had suggested it because my like Shakeology retention had went way down. So now I'm doing like loyalty rewards at 3, 6, 9, and 12 for the people already doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because I found I was like giving people these gift cards and giving people these shaker bottles, and they were getting Shakeology for a month and they were quitting. Like that's not going to change your life. You haven't been in it long enough to realize. And it's like what Kyra and Deidre say. Shakeology alone isn't going to change your life. It's the community. The 21-day fix didn't change my life. It was all of this combined. So, yeah.
True. So true. Does anybody have any questions? Can everybody unmute and say, thank you, Lyndee?
Thank you.
It doesn't have to, like, I'm a teacher. I realize not everyone is that. But once you find that why, and I can send you this, Amber, if you want to, like, share those.
Yeah.
Or whatever. All of this stuff just kind of, like, rolls, if that makes sense.
You have to find your like, niche thing.
Right.
For me, my business blew up when I became an instructor. But you just have to find your niche thing, whether it's, you spin it off of being a teacher, and teachers make the best coaches. Danielle Natoni was a teacher. Teachers make the best coaches. So, you just have to find your thing and kind of spin off of it,
Except for me, I'm a teacher and I'm not.
Yes, you're a teacher. You're just,
I go to a different drum.
She's Sapphire. It's fine. She's like, oh yeah. So Lyndee Sapphire, right, Carissa?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Okay, so Lyndee and me are the same. She's an Emerald Ruby. I'm an Emerald Ruby.
Yeah. So all those things that she had up, I was like, oh my, I'm like, nope.
Do you have any Sapphire coaches?
Well, yeah, but they're not active.
No.
Oh, they're married. There's no hope.
I think most of us on the team are either Emerald or Pearl. I think Carissa's probably the only Sapphire that we have.
I'm the lone wolf. Fine.
But that's okay. She's not going to use that as an excuse and let that hold her back.
No, I just got to work harder.
Yeah. And smarter.
Your thing.
Say it again.
Camry's a Sapphire.
She is? Oh, Lord. Bless your heart.
Who?
Camry. She here? Where's she at? Is she at your house?
Yeah, she's coming up. My phone died.
Tell her we're never going to put her and Carissa as success partners.
Look at her. Yes.
They'll just go to the bar and get drunk.
Oh, I have to meet you.
Beach body, who cares? Let's go party.
I like that too.
Brandy, stay focused.
Like when I don't plan it out, and I know like Amber, we have the same planner. When I don't plan it out is when, like, now if you go back a couple days in my social media, you'll start seeing I'm missing my value added posts. Because like then the day just gets away with me. Mom life. Last night my kid had stitches. Tonight when we were on our way to my friend's cabin, she forgot to tell us her security alarm was set. The sheriff came, and like too many of those things. Watch my Insta story. Too many of those things add up, and then all of a sudden like your day is shot, and I'm like, crap, I didn't share anything of value. And that is where I feel people like have started to trust me. They realize I'm not just in it to sell a challenge pack.
Yeah, I've said like time and time again, go find people on Facebook that have problems and solve them. Like if anybody posts, hey, I'm going on Disney, do you have any tips? I immediately message them and say, hey, I don't have any tips for you, but we did use an awesome Disney planner and you should message her. Then I've solved a problem. So even though the Disney planner may solve all their problems, I will get the credit for being the person who gave that. There was somebody yesterday who has been ignoring me on messages, and she posted about something about a sectional couch or whatever. Did anybody have any tips? And I said, yes, Nebraska Furniture Mart is great. If you get a light colored sofa that's fabric, make sure you have it scotch guarded and get the plan that's like $100 extra. They'll come and clean it for life. Like just go and find people that are asking questions on social media and solve those problems, because that's going to add value as well, along with your informational posts. So
yeah, or just reaching out to those people who are saying like, oh, I had such a crappy day. You know, like
message them.
Yep, exactly.
Message them and say, hey, boo, don't cry. I'm going to mail you a scale. That's a joke. Brandy messaged me the other day and she goes, hey, did you mail Camry a scale from Amazon? And I said, yes. How do you know? And she was like, it came to my house. And I'm like, what? Camry used Brandy's address. Anyways, we have to go because we are going to run out of time to record the call. Thank you so very much for doing this. And next week, we're going to talk about August Life Changer Group.
Make sure you press stop.
I'll send you the recording. I think I'll have to.
Okay.
Okay.
Love your faces.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.